going to stay where you are, well, then don't set goals.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, I wish that I started a business when I was in my 20s.
Apply that to business. Have someone you could share the burden of whatever this is together. We've made it here.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, man. Are you taking off your shoes?
Yep.
Yeah, Cape Town weather is it's been really weird for the couple of few days.
Yeah, it's been really hot, but I think it's great that it's a bit overcast today.
Yeah. Now the wind helps. The wind really, really helps.
The wind does help.
Yeah, man. The past few days I was stuck on the couch. I didn't want anyone to touch me. I was like, so
Sweaty.
Yeah,
no, that is a problem if it's so hot.
But we're here.
Up north is worse.
I know. This side it's usually like 28 degrees, but then with your side it's like 34, 36. I remember.
No, but also like if you're up in, say, Eastern Cape or up in Gauteng, it'll be 35 degrees, whatever.
Guys, it's your boy Rhema. Welcome to a new episode in a new year, in a new space. This is Iron Gorilla 2717 podcast, first episode for 2026, and I'll have my friend here, Paul, who will be with me for this episode. So we welcome you guys to 2026. Hope that you left 2025 and this year is going to be a different year. It's a year all about change, a year about manifestation. It's a year about goal setting. So let me welcome you guys to an episode in this podcast. We'll be discussing and having a chat just about goal setting for 2026 and what it looks like. Welcome, Paul.
Yes, thanks. Hi, Rema. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year, 2026.
Happy New Year.
May this year be great for you as much as it's great for everyone. I think may be great for you as well, Rema.
Yeah.
Rema and I have been friends for a long time, and I hope that this is a good year for you. And yes, I'm very excited to be here today to talk about goal setting. How do you know where you're going?
Okay, that's a really tough question. I think you know where you're going when you know like what the goal is. For example, do you know when there's a pond, like a small hole, and how you know the rock bottom is when you take a rock, you throw it down, and that's the end. It's not safe to go under. So I think that's the same with goal setting. You only set goals when you know like the destination you're going.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between, generally speaking, one is probably on this journey towards something, right? You want to climb Table Mountain, so that's your life goal. But then, of course, your intermediate goals would be, okay, what do you do this week or this month, or to actually get yourself ready for that. And I think it's important that you look at that the context as well. It's like 2026 is a year that you're going to achieve some things, but don't try and do all of it in your whole life, right? I mean, you're still a young man.
Yeah.
I'm a little older, so I have maybe fewer years left on this earth, but you've got lots of time. So, it's important to say, okay, what have you achieved so far? Where's your ultimate goal? And then what do you want to do in this year, in terms of hitting those goals?
Okay, and we can use myself as an example. I wouldn't mind being an experiment for this goal setting. So for myself, let's say I'm a 25-year-old young man. I'm entering the new year, and honestly, I have no job. I'm trying to aspire to be something. I've got some money saved up. Like, how would I go about to goal set?
Well, I think the first question you've got to ask yourself is, what are the things that you enjoy?
Okay.
So, and I know you, so I can kind of give you a hint, something like sport or fitness, that's something you enjoy. And then you've got to say maybe, okay, what are the things that you can get paid for? And so we're going to ask a few questions, and where these things overlap, that's where you will find your sweet spot.
So what you're saying is that to better goal set, you need to kind of understand yourself much more. And I feel like that's something you've brought on, because I think sometimes when it comes to goal setting, I've seen with like my peers, with my friends, is that I think they're aspiring for a goal that was never theirs. They were aspiring for a goal that was either entertaining their faces or something like, yo, my brother. Because for me, the reason why I got into technology was because of my older brother, right? He loved tech. My entire family was into tech. And I was like, huh, let me get into it. But my passion was actually always to be a chef, you know? So because you have this idea of like, this is what my dad wants from me, let me achieve it, you kind of forget like, what are my skills, what am I good at? And by saying identify, like, and better know yourself, helps you to better set goals, you know.
Well, yeah, because I think ultimately we want to set goals that we can achieve,
Yeah.
and that is easier for us to achieve.
True.
That is something we can do and we also love, right?
Yeah.
Remember, because part of goal setting is you're going to have to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you end up being in a position where you do stuff just because your family wants it, not yourself, that becomes harder. It's much more of a slog. So that is, I think it's essential to say, okay, well, what do I enjoy? Who am I? What am I made for? There's this famous saying of this guy who was the first guy who ran the 4-minute
yes,
mile.
yes, I know that guy.
Eric Liddell. And he said very famously, he said, I know God made me for a purpose, but he also made me fast.
Yes.
And when I run, I can feel his pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think what that meant was he was saying, God made me fast, and therefore I need to run because that's part of why God made me. And so that is important, the question that I want to ask you. What do you think, what did God made you for? And part of that sits in the stuff that you love.
Are you asking me a question? Why God made? Or is
Yes, well, I think, what do you think? What is your calling in life? What does God want you to use with your life for?
I mean, for me, it's been a journey, right? The reason why I'm able to say right now that I know my calling is because it took like a lot of time, and it was the negatives actually that made me want to be like, this is what God wants from me. So just to sum it up, I think what God wants from me is to inspire other young people, I think, through like fitness. And I think when you look at fitness is not just you going to the gym. It's like taking charge of your entire body, taking charge of your life. I think having that structural approach to life, So for me, it's just to inspire young people by just doing what I can. And that's why I got into boxing. And that's why, I got into bodybuilding. And that's why I got into like all these kinds of sports, because I knew that's where I can inspire other, younger guys. See myself in, being able to inspire them and giving them that space. And we do that through like Iron Gorilla. When it comes to like inspiration, I think you have to really ask yourself, like, is it something I want or is it something like the world wants? That's something I really had to ask myself, because I had to really think about like the job that I'm doing. Do I really like the job that I'm doing? Does it fulfill me? Yes, it is part of my skills, but does it truly fulfill me? And it took years and years and years, and and you were alongside, with me in that journey. So,
but I think that's where you are right. It does take a long time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I am much older than you, and I still think about what is my specific goal for the year. How do I see my purpose, and what can I do in 2026 to
Yes.
fulfill that purpose? So I think that is important. And I would like to encourage everybody who's listening to realize that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not 100 meters. This is like running a marathon. So you've got to like work on this over a long time. And the one thing that I've seen a lot of people, they become almost impatient and they want everything tomorrow, but then they don't actually do anything meaningful. And then 2, 3, 4 years later, they still haven't achieved anything. So it's really important to say, okay, no, break down your goals, look at certain aspects. So for example, you speak about fitness, you speak about encouraging people, and we obviously started the business together. So what is the goal for Iron Gorilla for this year? Because there's a specific goal that we're working towards, and fulfill that. And then you can always look at other things. Now you mentioned you're a chef and so on, so how are you going to build on that? So I think those are the things I want to encourage people to do. Is A, it's a long-term journey, and B, do it with a friend. Do it with somebody that gets to know you, and someone who can really also hold you accountable and, support you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it. Do it with a friend. Because especially as men, we can be pretty prideful. And once you're doing with someone, it helps a lot in terms of the hard times. Imagine the stresses, but cut in half. Like, come on. that's why people in relationships. That's why people are married. So why can't you apply that to business? Have someone you could share the burden of whatever this is together, and in hence we both grow and support each other. And I see that a lot of times. And an example would be going to the gym, right? It's like there was one day where Paul used to come to my house at, imagine, 5:30 in the morning. This is me working a evening shift, right, from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. and I'm sleeping at like 12. And homie's like, knock, knock, knock at 5:30. And you wouldn't just come at 5:30, you come German time, 15 minutes earlier. And there was times where I slept at 2 a.m. and I was like, you know what, I do not want to go to gym because I'm tired. But then I asked myself, like, yo, Paul is depending on me. I do not want to disappoint him. And I think that's where that encourage comes from, because I got a chance of going to gym like 80% more than I would have done by myself. And I had learned the discipline of being up at 5:30 just because my friend depended on me. You get what I mean? So for me, like you said, that partnership, that's what it creates. And you also have your own story on how, like, me showing up helped you in your journey of, like, in this fitness thing.
Absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't for Rhema, I wouldn't even be doing so much gymming. I think Rhema, I mean, you speak about inspiring young people, inspire old people as well, right? I'm massively inspired by him. I think I'm inspired by you, bro, because you are really a great example of someone who works hard. One thing I've known about you is that I go with you in the gym, and I mean, you're crazy, right? You start one set and then you just kind of like go crazy, and you just push hard and you push everyone around you. But it actually, I mean, the whole point is we only grow when we get pushed out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point about, I think, goal setting and friendship in that, is that you want a friend that actually pushes you.
Yeah.
Because if you're just going to stay where you are, well, then don't set goals. But then don't be upset if you don't achieve anything.
I know.
If you want to achieve stuff, you've got to hang around people that make you a little bit uncomfortable, that push you out of your comfort zone.
True.
And I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, so what you're saying right now, when it comes to goal setting, so first identify yourself. Identify, like, who am I? And I think we are going to get into this more practically on how you can do that. The second thing you say is create an environment in which your friends kind of keep you accountable, or community. So identify yourself, right? Create an environment in which people will uplift you, will keep you, accountable. So then after you've reached on finding a partner, then what's the next step?
Well, I think then it's just starting, right? I mean, at the end of the day, don't over-engineer things.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Don't end up saying, oh, I need to do this and this and this before I start. I think just start. Think big, start small, they say. So if you know you have a passion for something, then try it out.
Yeah.
And see how that goes. I mean, like, for example, you say you like you're a chef, you like cooking. So you started with Guerrilla Kitchen last year to actually, make high protein meals for people who don't have time.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, because, like, I never considered myself a chef. Just to give you a backstory, I have 5 sisters, and my family is very African. So I only got a chance of cooking like when I was like 19, and I'm about to move out of the house. So I think when it comes to cooking, that was not even something that, like, I was like, I can make money from, up until I was given a dilemma where, like, I didn't have a job, like, and I had to ask myself, like, I have both of my hands, what can I do? Because at the end of the day, I was given 2 choices. Either I cry sad, move into my parents' house. That's not gonna happen, and be a disappointment, or make something of what I've learned so far. And being in this fitness space, I learned how to cook. I learned how macros work. I learned, I bulked. I would lose weight in 2 months. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out. And I was really a good chef already. So I cooked a few meals. And I think when it comes to starting something, right, like Paul said, do not over-engineer it. It's people around you that will support you the most, right? And I asked a few friends, you want to try this? You want to try that? You want to try that? They gave me a review. And that's how my business started. And I've been running it ever since, And it was just like from the people around me. And I tasted it out, and I wasn't afraid of failure. And yes, I did fail trying the business out, like dismally. but I moved forward because like I learned in my failure. So like that was just a quick story of like how I started the business.
Exactly, but I mean, we always say that in fitness you learn about failure, right? I mean, the best thing about gymming with Rema is I always try and do PBs. So he always pushes me and go, hey, let's go heavy, and then I go, okay, let's try. And then sometimes, you kind of go, I want to, bench 100 kgs or whatever. And then sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. And that's what gym teaches you.
Mm-hmm.
The failure is okay. It's all part of the journey. It makes you stronger anyway. I mean, you actually know that from a physical perspective. If you do push to failure, you will get stronger.
Yep, hypertrophy.
So that's a whole. I mean, yeah, that's
the law of hypertrophy,
and progressive overload and all that. So I mean, if you guys need some fitness tips, talk to us as well about that. But I mean, in terms of life, definitely failure also teaches you. I think one of the biggest mistakes men make often, and it's our egos. Male ego doesn't go away. I'm double Rema's age, and I still have an ego. So I'm telling you this, from experience. But I think, if you just push through and you just try something, and you will learn from it. So that would be my recommendation. After you've know yourself, you know what you want to do, what you're enjoying. Start something. Start somewhere. Because what is the other side of it? The other side is you die with your dreams.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that do that, eh?
And that's sad, bro. Like, imagine being in a casket and having all of these wonderful dreams. Like, I think even for myself, what's scary is that I grow up having all of these dreams as a kid of wanting to do this, wanting to do that, and I'm met with the obstacles of reality. And, like, that's scary, because you once was this happy, very energetic person, but now because you're not able to achieve your dreams, you become sad. And to be honest, like, that's why, like, a lot of people are sad. It's because they had all of these dreams and they didn't try, and now they became miserable for the rest of the world because they expect. I mean, that's a whole different story, but that's one thing that I'm really scared of, and that's why, like, I really focus, because at the end of the day, no matter what we do, we don't grow up. We always have the inner child in us that wants that entertainment, that wants that. And if you can feel the inner child, man, I think it's like one step of being a little bit happier. It's gonna be difficult, but like, as long as you're doing something with your life.
But it's better than the alternative. You see, this is the important point. You want to always ask yourself, okay, what's the alternative? The alternative, and I know a lot of people, I've mentored a lot of young men over the years that always talk to me, I want to start this business, I want to do this thing. But they never do. They never actually start. And then you ask them year after year, what have you done? What have you done? And they just keep on saying, later, later, later. And then 5, 6, 7 years later, they haven't actually moved. And then that's where it becomes then so sad. People become almost like they believe, actually, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not going to even succeed. And then they just never get out of their comfort zone. So I think trying and failing is better than not trying and always wondering, I wish I could have done this. I mean, in a way, I'll be honest about this. I said to Rema, when we started Iron Gorilla a few years ago, I said to him, I wish that I started a business when I was in my 20s. And, I didn't. I went overseas and traveled and so on. But then I thought, actually, I can't really turn back the clock, right? Because I'm no longer in my 20s. But I've got this one young, wonderful friend, my brother here, and he's in his 20s. And I'm like, hey, dude, why don't we start a business together? Yeah. Then I can at least make sure that you won't have the regrets I have, when you're my age, because you would have started a business in your 20s. I have the benefit of some experience, and so now I can at least plow my experience into this business as well.
Nah, you're making me think now. Pain in power, power in pain, is that you realize that this is a pain you have in your heart, and this is something you've always wanted to achieve, but then you can't do it. But then you realize the only way to solve that pain is to pass the baton and support someone else's dream that you shared, right? And in a sense, like, it reminded me of, like, in my difficult times, how I solved my issues would be, I looked at other kids that are going through what I'm going through, and I'm like, what I'm going through is tough, but like, if I can support them, it's like I'm healing myself. It sounds weird, but like, once you help someone who's going through exactly something you're going through, irreversibly it works. It kind of helps you out. So are you saying that because you had that, you know, that dream. Like, listen, I want to start a business when I was younger, and you saw someone younger, and you're like, you know what, let me support them. Was it like you trying to also heal your younger self to a certain extent?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and you're right. That is almost the pinnacle of it all. You know, when you know yourself, when you've started, now you actually say, okay, let's focus on others, not just myself, because I think that is the best way to achieve your goals is to say, how do I make a difference in the world? Not that it's only just for me, but how can I make a difference to others? So yes, and absolutely. And then, as you say, heal yourself, you know, kind of travel back in time and say, actually, because the benefit I can see now is that I can work with you. You're young and you're energetic and you push me and so on.
Nah, I'm not. I'm young for now, man. I'm getting old, man.
Younger than me. But I have got a little bit of experience now, at least. So I can now bring my experience to the table and say, hey, why don't we work together? You know, what is the, you know, and we have diversity in our thinking and our experience and so on. So I think, yes, that is ultimately almost the biggest goal, is to say, find someone that you can work with that can also bring you that diversity and also, just help you to achieve this goal by serving others, not just yourself.
Yeah, it's big on serving others, you know. And so if you want to have goals, you think about goal setting for 2026, guys. We have something special coming up for you guys this end of the month. So from the 31st of Jan to the 2nd of Feb, we're running an all men's camp. This is a faith-based camp for young entrepreneurs, guys who want to make a change in the community, guys who would like to go out there, meet like-minded people, get the tools required to start their own business, you know, meet up a community, but also try to serve God at the same time. We'll be running this camp from the 31st to the 2nd. We have some incredible speakers. We'll be having chats like identity, how to support young people, young guys in business. So, guys, keep a lookout. We are limited, though. We'll be only having a max of 35 people. First come, first serves. And this is a free event, so do not worry about finance or anything. It's all sponsored. And looking forward to seeing you guys there. So back to the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is an important point. I think this year we decided we want to actually make these podcasts, intertwine them with more events, so that, you know, you guys can listen to us, people can listen to us, but we can also have events where people can meet us, and we can also introduce you to other people, and you can introduce yourself to others and build a network. Because ultimately, I think we know, you and I know, that the only way to be successful in these ventures is if you have a partner, a buddy.
Yeah.
You know, our motto is iron sharpens iron. That's ultimately the name of the podcast, and so we want to live that out. So yeah, we're going to have this event in January. It's as Rhema was saying, it's a men's retreat. It's out in Franschhoek, and we want to invite you and say, even if you don't know what your goals for the year should be, come on this camp. We are going to go through some of these frameworks we discussed here today in the podcast. We're going to have lots of fun together. There's going to be lots of food, and we always have like activities and so on. And the whole purpose of it is to say, okay, maybe find somebody that's good, like-minded as you are. Maybe two of you can start a business together, or you've got an idea and he's got an idea. And that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to give back to the Iron Gorilla community, to our audience, and say, okay, come on this journey with us. Let us help you. And yeah, I mean, people also, I know, want to talk to you. One of my friends want to talk to you, Rhema, about bulking and so on. So come on the camp and, you know, come and learn about all these things, right?
Yeah. And speaking of bulking and fitness, I heard on the grapevine that Iron Gorilla might be opening up a gym soon. So what do you have to say about that?
Yes, that is also that is definitely on the cards for us. That is, we're just going through the final details. We're excited about that, because that will have a place for us where people can also physically meet us. We can gym together. We can have more fun together. We're going to have more events there for the rest of the year. And yes, ultimately, touch more people and help more guys to achieve their goals, because that's ultimately what this is about, right?
Yeah, it's just supporting each other, man. I feel like, and I'm speaking from the perspective of a foreigner, of a black man living in this country, and seeing like the injustice that has done. And I think, you know, as the next generation, I think our goal is, how can we come together and create a society that we want to live in? You know, how can we come together and support each other as young black men? You know, like, that's what we want. That's what we want for I think the next generation, I'm for 2026, 2030, 2040, is that how do the men look like? And I think that's the end goal, is that to create stronger men, men who are united, and men who are strong, and that's ultimately our goal, and our passion. So we're gonna keep doing what we need to do to support you guys. And if you guys need any support, please feel free to reach out to us on all our social media channels, on Instagram. We have WhatsApp of a club running, so we'll be also opening that up to everybody. And yeah, so ultimately we just want to serve men for God.
Absolutely. When I was younger, I don't have a biological brother. I always wanted a biological brother. When I was a kid, because I wanted something to play with.
Yeah.
And then I always say to God, I want a brother. And then God sent me this guy, and it's really cool to actually think that, we can be brothers from another mother. We can support each other. And we really want that vibe to be the vibe for Iron Gorilla for the year. And so we want to encourage you. Don't just be passive when it comes to this. Be active. Get on board. Come with us. Come to our events. Come to our gym when we open it up. Hopefully in March, the latest. And come and journey with us, because this is going to be the year that we can help you to achieve those goals. And you can share your goals with us as well. We'll hold you accountable. But find yourself a buddy.
Yeah. Find yourself a buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty cool. And actually, I have one more question. So, if we look at the theme for Iron Gorilla this year, what would you say it is? It is. I mean, it's a theme.
Well, I think it should be breaking glass ceilings. Going above and beyond. I think a lot of the time, people have got they paint themselves into a corner. They think that I can't do this because of. They have lots of reasons why they say I can't do something. I want to challenge them and say, well, let's try and do it anyway.
Okay.
Despite. So it's kind of like take all your constraints and turn it into opportunities.
Yeah.
So break the glass ceiling. I think that should be the theme.
Okay. Solid. For myself, I think I'm just thinking horsepower, man. I'm just thinking I feel like as Iron Gorilla has been running, we've been setting the grounds. We've had the foundation. And now it's time for the rocket to launch.
Absolutely.
Like you say, break the ceiling. So that's the theme for this year. You guys will be seeing a lot of us. You'll be hearing a lot of us. You might get annoyed, but you will love us. I know you do. And you'll be seeing more events from us on our social. So keep a lookout. We're going to be here. 2026 is our year. And iron sharpens iron, my brother.
Indeed, 2026 is your year. 2026 is your year. 2026 is my year. Don't settle for mediocrity.
Yeah.
Don't settle for mediocrity.
No,
aim for the stars.
There we go, man. So,
cheers. Have a nice day.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And that's us, the Iron Gorilla 2717 podcast. I need to get used to saying that. 2717 podcast. And that's us. The first episode for the year. You guys take care. God bless. And see you guys soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.